please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Manisha Natarajan joins in with what's next. Manisha, over to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, July 31st was the deadline for real estate developers across the country to register new project launches and also projects under construction with the real estate regulatory authorities set up by each state. I'm actually quite heartened to see that 23 states have notified the rules, though only 7 have a working website and just a 4 number a permanent regulator. So a long way still to go for states to get their act together. Now, 2 key states which have missed the deadline are Telangana and West Bengal. Both Hyderabad and Kolkata are amongst India's top 8 real estate markets, which actually has 80% of India's real estate. So therefore, the deadline missing by these 2 states is actually significant. In short, the big concern for buyers is that states have diluted rules for ongoing projects. Look at Haryana rules. They say in case the builder has applied for an occupation certificate or a completion certificate, the projects do not come under RERA. Now, some states like UP have allowed projects which are 60% sold to be exempt as well. So buyers stuck in delayed projects say there's really no help from RERA. And that's my worry. How do you restore confidence back in the market without resolving delayed project issues? Builders, on the other hand, have pushed out registration as much as they could, even in states like Maharashtra, which had a working website on May 1st. But the biggest concern amongst developers in states like Telangana, where there are no RERA rules, is that how do they actually go about their business? Let's go across to CNBC TV18 reporters who've been monitoring RERA progress very closely in their respective states. So let's start with Nithya Balakrishnan in Hyderabad. Nithya, what's happening in your city, which actually had started clocking some sort of a revival in 2016?
The youngest state in the country, but also a clear laggard when it comes to implementation of RERA norms. The August 1 deadline has come and gone, but Telangana is no closer to implementing RERA, with sources in the Urban Development Ministry adding that it will at least take another 4 weeks for final rules to be notified, and Telangana is in a wait-and-watch mode to see if other states dilute the centre's RERA norms or not. Now, what we're given to understand is that there will be draft rules in place, discussions on the same, final rules notified, appointment of a real estate regulator, and only then will an online portal be created for registering under RERA. With all these gaps in between, what is at stake is developers who do not know if their project is legal or not, as ongoing projects have not yet migrated under RERA, and there will be no registering of new projects until RERA registrations are complete. Developers cannot even advertise the same, which means home buyers are in a limbo for at least the next month. With Hyderabad already reeling under the real estate land deed scam in the commercial sector, and now the housing space in a mess due to late implementation of RERA, it definitely does not bode well for what was once one of the most promising real estate sectors here in the country. Nithya Balakrishnan, CNBC TV18, Hyderabad.
Well, Nithya, it's not good news to hear that the state is actually looking at how other states are diluting RERA rules. Okay, let's find out what's happening in Chennai. Jude Sanit joins us. Jude, you caught up with the housing minister who said, well, not having a website should not be a hindrance to register projects. But are builders really convinced about it? It is a task, isn't it?
Well, not quite, Manisha. That's exactly why, as on date, the Tamil Nadu government claims that they have a fully functioning RERA, but that remains, remember, merely on paper. And that's precisely why, because there are 2 things that have not quite been completed yet. There is no fully functioning RERA website, and there is no permanent regulator in place. So while we on one hand have the housing secretary claiming that the state is RERA ready, the fact still remains that all builders will have to register their projects offline as of now. And remember, in the absence of the website, even complaints pertaining to projects are being taken offline. Now, what is the problem really? It's simple. An offline registration of projects and offline registration of complaints, builders say, dilutes the very purpose with which RERA was set up to begin with, which is exactly why builders now say that they need a fully functioning website that needs to be up and running at the earliest to ensure transparency by way of RERA. But the state government says that in the interim, while that website takes 7 days from today to be completed. The fact is that builders will have to register all projects offline. Complaints will have to be registered offline at the RERA office. So while on paper, RERA in Tamil Nadu is up and running and kicks off starting today. Remember, 50 projects within the city of Chennai alone have already been registered offline. In the pursuit of transparency, builders say they are eagerly waiting for that website to be up and running so as to ensure transparency by way of RERA registrations.
Jude, thank you so much. Yes, it is a nightmare to actually apply for a RERA registration offline. Let's find out what's happening in Karnataka. Bangalore, as we all know, is a critical market. Rukmini, Karnataka sat on rules for a very long time. The inside story was developers themselves wanted to push it out as much as possible. So what's the status on project registrations? Are we seeing reasonable numbers, or the numbers are still looking quite disappointing?
Well, Karnataka was one of the first states to bring out the draft rules way back in October last year. But however, the rules were only notified on the 10th of July. In fact, the RERA website for Karnataka was just up and running just about 10 or 11 days ago. In fact, what we picked up from all the builders that we spoke to was really there are IT glitches that are existing in the RERA website. The size of file uploading is just 5 MB, and the builders are finding it very difficult to upload all the humongous documents that are required in terms of disclosure under the RERA. In fact, most of the builders that we spoke to really were looking for an extension of the deadline. Though the Karnataka RERA website still says that 31st July is the last day to file applications, the builders are, pushing the government, is what we understand, to at least not penalize them for the next 1 month for them to be able to upload all the information onto the website. What we've picked up from our sources is that there has been only 30 to 35% of registration of projects that has happened till date, as in the last 10 days or so, and it's going to take quite some time for the builders really to upload all the ongoing projects and the projects that they're looking to start in Karnataka.
Rukmini, thank you very much. Well, it's worrying. I mean, many a slip between the cup and the lip. So IT glitches, website not up. Developers are going to take a much longer time to become RERA compliant. Ashwini, we have a next from Maharashtra. She's had her hands full keeping a tab on RERA. Ashwini, what's the final tally? Because your state actually had a working website and a very strong regulator from May 1st onwards.
Absolutely. So Maharashtra has been the most successful state when it comes to implementation of RERA. As you rightly said, it had a working website from day one. Mr. Gautam Chatterjee, a very experienced civil servant, is the regulator, and he had made it very clear to all the developers that there will be no extension beyond 31st July. Now let's take you to some of the latest numbers that we have as on midnight of 31st July. 10,839 projects have been registered. 2,500 have got RERA certificate, and most of these developers came during the last 2-3 days. We also caught up with the Secretary of RERA, and he told us that developers are still in the process of registering, and now it is up to the RERA authority whether they will give them extension, they will penalize them or no. So in and all, Maharashtra is doing really well, and I think the success of the RERA will set an example for the rest of the country.
Ashwini, thank you very much. Well, RERA seems to be on track, but rest of the country will take at least 3 months to get RERA settled. And I really don't see the gridlock and poor numbers of new launches and sales breaking before that. Hopefully, sales will start looking a little bit better, closer to Diwali, we can say. Back to you.
Manisha, thank you very much, and thank you to all the reporters who've joined us from across the country with that update, very comprehensive update. Well, we have to wrap up on this edition of Trading Hour. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned. Halftime report comes right up.